Hello and welcome to the channel. This is your Ten Hag press conference reaction for the game against Crystal Palace tomorrow. We've got a lot of insight about injuries. Martinez is out injured again. Anthony will be back, available, training. He's already training with the squad. Could be available for selection tomorrow. And there is no resolution for Sancho's problem at the moment. But before we started, can you please like this video, subscribe. If you're watching from a forum, please click on the link so that the link takes you straight to YouTube, and then you can subscribe from there. And thank you once again. Your contribution is immense for this channel. And let's get started. So first of all, Ten Hag was asked about Anthony. The club made a statement saying that Anthony will be back into the team, available for selection, will be training with the squad from now on. But there is still a case against Anthony. However, one of the accusers dropped her charges, and yesterday Anthony was interviewed by the police voluntarily, which is different from being arrested, of course. So Anthony gave his side of the story to the police, and the club decided that at the moment there is not enough case against Anthony, and Anthony should be allowed back into the squad. Now, Ten Hag was asked several questions about Anthony. He was asked if he thinks the club made the right decision, if he had to think twice about allowing Anthony back because of the backlash. People might have different opinions about this subject, but Ten Hag gave the same answer. Every time he was asked about Anthony, he gave the same answer. He said, the clubs made a statement and I would refer you to the club statement. That's how he answered all the time. Every time he was asked, he gave the same answer. Then he was asked about injuries because Martinez is out again. It's the same injury that he had a few weeks ago. But I don't know what the Manchester United medical team is doing. So Martinez got injured. He was allowed to go into international, play for Argentina. Then he came back, played a couple games for Man United, and now the same injury recurred. So the same injury that he had before has happened again. But I don't know what the club medical team is doing. They shouldn't allow him to go. They shouldn't allow him to go into the international game, and they should have gave him more rest, because we could see that we could see that Martinez wasn't the same. The way he was playing, that's not how Martinez normally plays. So we could see that something was wrong with Martinez from the way he was performing on the pitch. But anyway, now we lost Martinez for 2 or 3 months. Just like when you think, oh, you're getting some of your players back from injury, you lose another one. And we also don't have Reguilón available because Reguilón is still ill. That means Sofian Amrabat is going to have to play as a left back, instead of playing next to Casemiro, which is what we bought him for. We bought Amrabat to be a defensive midfielder, but instead, with all these injuries, Amrabat is having to play as a left back, which he doesn't mind, but that's not what he's here for. We already missing 3 fullbacks. We're missing Luke Shaw, we're missing Malacia, and we're still missing Reguilón, who is ill. So, but he gave us some good news as well, because McTominay and Eriksen are available for selection. So we lost Martinez, but we got McTominay and Eriksen back. So that was it about injuries, about Anthony. And then one of the journalists, of course, asked him about Sancho. He said, now that you solved the Anthony problem, do you think you're going to have any progress in relation to Sancho? Ten Hag again said, well, I've said everything I had to say in relation to this matter, and everything I said is clear. I have nothing more to say. So once again, Ten Hag was asked a question about Sancho, and Ten Hag said, in another words, Ten Hag said, nothing changed. Everything I said before remains, and I have nothing more to add. Then he was asked questions about Sofian Amrabat. What is his best attribute? Is it his stamina or is it his technical ability? Ten Hag said, well, you need both, but his stamina is definitely his main asset. So Ten Hag has confirmed that Amrabat is a technical player, but his stamina stands out. Then he was also asked, how do you cope with so many games? The Champions League might be expanded, will expand next year. There is the World Cup maybe coming up as well. How do you cope with so many games, and the players also have to play internationals, national cups? How do you cope with all these demands? Do you expand your squad, or do you give the players less game time, like you rotate the squad? And Ten Hag said, we already having to cope with this issue since last year. Last season we had the World Cup mid-season, and we still have to play the cups. And this year we already expanded our squad. So Ten Hag is saying that, of course, the demand on the players is immense. The injuries has something to do with the fact that the players are having to play so many games these days. But you have to deal with it. You have to expand the squad. You have to rotate the squad. And other teams are having to cope with the same problem. Then he was also asked another question about giving chances to the youngsters. The journalist asked, some of the youngsters such as Garnacho, Pelestri, and Gore are having chances. With so much more games to come, do you think those young players are gonna have more chances? And he said, yes, they might have more chances, but they have to demonstrate how they contribute to the team. They have to have the right mentality, and above all, they have to earn, and they have to demonstrate this in training and especially in matches. Basically, Ten Hag said, yes, there might be more chances available for the youngsters. However, they have to have the right mentality. They have to earn it. And the way they do that is by showing in training and in matches. Then he was also asked about the way Man United play and the way Ajax played. For example, he was asked, during the Burnley game, you only had about 38% of possession. Do you think that Manchester United should have more possession, considering how do you used to manage Ajax? And he said, well, you don't always have to have a high percentage of possession to control the game, but I prefer to have it like we had against Crystal Palace. Again, Ten Hag has confirmed that he is a possession-based manager. He said, well, at the end of the day, the win is more important, the control of the game is more important, but I prefer to have possession like we had against Crystal Palace. Then he was also asked, in relation to the game against Crystal Palace, how different do you think the game will be, considering that the squads will be different? They will play with their first 11. Manchester United will play with their first 11. How different do you think it's going to be? And he said, yeah, it's going to be very different, because both teams are going to play with their main squad. But we have belief, and we have to bear in mind that the opponent will be looking for revenge. I like the way he answered that question. We have believed because we beat them a few days ago. They will play with their best team. We're going to play with our best team. But we have to believe that we are capable of beating them. But we also have to bear in mind that Crystal Palace will be looking for revenge, and that will be their fuel. I like the way that he answered that last question. Yeah. So Ten Hag is pretty confident that we're going to win the game against Crystal Palace. But he also knows that the Crystal Palace players will be fired up because we beat them, we knocked them out of the cup, and they will come to Old Trafford with their best team looking for revenge. Anyway, that was it. In summary, that was it. We don't have Martinez available. He's injured for about 2 or 3 months. We have Eriksen, McTominay back. We have Anthony back, but we don't think he's going to be available because he was out for 3 weeks. He might not be much sharp. He might not be much fit, but he's available training with the squad again. And in relation to Sancho, there is no development. Everything that he said remains the same, and nothing has changed so far. Anyway, tomorrow is match day. I'm going to do another video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for your contribution. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Thanks. Bye.